more than $430 million in broadband funding from the U.S. Treasury. T-Mobile looks to speed up access to thousands of 2.5 gigahertz spectrum licenses, and a temporary handshake deal between Dish and Disney on carriage fees. Those stories and more on This Week in the Broadband Universe. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Craig Corbin. Word today from the U.S. Treasury Department that more than $435 million has been approved for broadband projects in Massachusetts, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Money comes from the $10 billion Coronavirus Capital Projects Fund. Service providers must participate in the Federal Communications Commission's Affordable Connectivity Program in order to receive funding. In Massachusetts, $145 million will target broadband infrastructure through the GAP Networks grant program. More than $250 million goes to Michigan for use in their Realizing Opportunity with Broadband Infrastructure Networks, or ROBIN, program. And $40 million goes to projects in Wisconsin with the goal of connecting more than 8,000 households and businesses in that state. Andy Burke has been appointed to the post of Rural Utilities Service Administrator with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Burke's most recent post was as a special representative for broadband at the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, NTIA, at the U.S. Department of Commerce. Prior to that role, Burke served as mayor of Chattanooga for 8 years after having served as a member of the Tennessee State Senate from 2007 to 2012. T-Mobile chomping at the bit to begin using a sizable portion of the 7,000 plus 2.5 gigahertz licenses they won in the recent Spectrum Auction 108. The company has petitioned the FCC for special temporary authority to allow immediate use of better than 2,000 of those licenses in 45 states prior to completion of the agency's final post-auction review, which could take months. Word from the Fiber Broadband Association this week that Alcorn County Electric Power Association in Mississippi has become the first service provider to adopt the FBA's Optic Path program. The move by ACE Power expands the Optical Telecom Installation Certification Path program beyond the 40 colleges and learning institutions where Optic Path is now offered or is under consideration. With the need for intelligent infrastructure now greater than ever, the Lone Star State taking the lead in advancing smart city services, building resilient and carbon-free economies while closing the technology divide. The Why Texas Summit was held recently at AT&T Stadium in Arlington for companies relocating to or expanding in Texas. One group at the forefront of addressing the key challenges of today is the Austin-based Autonomy Institute. I talked earlier this week with Brent Skorup, a member of the Academic Board of Advisors to the Autonomy Institute, about the direction of efforts for a more intelligent infrastructure.
You've got some technology trends like fiber optics everywhere, edge compute, 5G, small transmitters, cheap LiDAR and radars and other sensors. You also have some social and transportation service improvements, things like connected vehicles, autonomous vehicles, perhaps drones. And in this confluence of events, in our view, and many others who work in this area, we think it's been a dream to have connected vehicles for a long time, but now we actually have the technology out there that you could feasibly do this.
You can see my entire conversation with Brent on the latest edition of the Broadband Universe podcast series. Finally, it didn't take long, less than 2 days in fact, for the Dish and Disney carriage fee dispute to reach a temporary handshake agreement, which put all the Disney channels, including ESPN, back on the satellite provider's lineup. Blackout began at 12:01 a.m. last Saturday morning, bringing about an immediate uproar from viewers looking for ABC-owned local stations in 8 markets, along with ESPN and Disney channels, FX, and other Disney-owned services. Dish claiming that Disney was looking for an increase of upwards of $1 billion in carriage renewal fees. It's one thing not to have the Disney Channel, but where would you watch College Game Day? Priorities. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on This Week in the Broadband Universe.